Feminism has lied to women. It told women to get the man they want, they have to become the man they want. Most women these days, especially in the West, are masculine. They're career women, and they think that having a career makes them more attracted to men. This is simply not true. Attraction when it comes to men and women is not symmetrical. The things that women look for in men, men do not look for the same things in women. Women are told to get a man, you need to be a career woman, you need to be strong and independent. But the truth is, if you're a strong and independent man, you do not want another copy of you. We want things that we don't have in a woman, like femininity, softness. The following clip is taken from Steven Crowder's channel, Louder with Crowder. Let's get into it.
Here's the issue. Women, if you look back at what women wanted in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, and you'll try and say, oh, they want, voting, abusing women. No, these things were never, abusing your wife was never something that was so societally accepted. That's not patriarchy. No. Patriarchy was they were the ones who voted for women to have a right to vote. Most women didn't want the right to vote because of the responsibilities that it came with. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, and it came with the responsibility of being drafted, and most women did not want to go to war. So most women back then did not even want the right to vote.
About that. What I'm talking about is what women wanted out of life in the 1950s, 1940s, and specifically what they wanted out of men has changed decade to decade so dramatically, whereas what men want from women is still the exact same.
Exactly. So our role has remained static since the 1950s. We're still expected to be masculine. We're still expected to be providers. We're still expected to protect women if shit goes down. And we take on these responsibilities with a smile on our face. But women seem to think that they are not beholden to their feminine role, which is being a good woman, listening to your husband, being a good mother, being a keeper of the home. They don't think that they have to hold up their end of the bargain, but we still have to hold up ours.
And that's why many of you are finding yourself in a scenario where you're unhappy. And you realize that the wool's been pulled over your eyes, where now they control your kids and hormone blockers, and they're teaching them critical race theory, and they're giving them books with kids and strap-ons at the Virginia School Public Library. And all of a sudden, you've been taken for granted because something, vulva, right? So let's go through some of the primary gripes that I hear women often complaining about today. And this is now from the feminist movement that have been created, a self-fulfilling prophecy. One, okay, here you go, that women are being sexually objectified. You hear this a lot. This is a problem now, right? And you have the era of Me Too. And again, men need to clean house with Me Too, right? It's men who need to kick the ass of rapists. Hey, by the way, do you want to know what happened? See how rapists and child molesters do in prison.
Yeah.
Even violent male criminals aren't huge fans, just to be clear.
Yeah, and I've been to an American jail, and I can tell you that the guys who are in for rape or child molestation or anything like that, they're kept separate from the rest of the population. They're dressed up in blue, and they're kept separate from everybody else because they get their asses kicked. It's 100% true.
There's a reason Weinstein kept it to himself outside of Matt Damon.
Well, I think Weinstein's going to have no issue in the rape department.
No. It'll be a rape cornucopia.
Yes, they may beat him daily, though.
Yeah.
Just because, look, he's a slob.
He's absolutely disgusting.
He's just tough to look at.
So women are sexually objectified. Well, look, I would agree with that. I think that's a problem that we have now that we certainly didn't have back in the 1940s, 50s. I'll say 50s for the sake of argument here. Because a lot of times they say, MAGA means go back to the 1950s, which was racism and sexism. But now they're going, we can't find a man on college. Okay, on college campus. All right. Yeah. Feminists were the feminist movement, okay? And when I am saying this, I'm talking about the feminist leftist movement. And unfortunately, because women value empathy over conflict and resolution in many ways, you know this.
That's
if
true.
You're married,
women are more agreeable than men.
Run wild. So I'm not saying all women, but I am saying this is a problem that has been created exclusively in the female community. Feminism lauded the sexual liberation movement.
Yeah.
This coincided with birth control, right? They said, hey, free sex, right? Free sex, free love. That was the idea. And guess what? You let men off the hook. This didn't come from men. Now, men...
And now women are losing because of this free sexuality shit. Women are not getting commitments anymore because the guys that they want, guys they want can get sex anytime. It's a Tinder swipe away. It's at the bar down the street. So why would a man who's high value, who's got his shit together, you know, the kind of man that women want, the kind of man that other women want too, why the fuck would you then settle with one chick? Like, the incentive for marriage is gone now, because there's nothing that you get from marriage as a man that you can't get otherwise. Sex, children, companionship. You can get all those without marriage or long-term commitment. And especially since women are only fucking the guys at the top 20, 30% of dudes, it becomes really, 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 really good if you're a guy at the top, because, you know, it's just the endless stream of pussy. So why would you just settle with one? Women have ruined the game. It's all their fault.
I've always wanted to have sex with as many women.
They giving out the pussy like it's nothing.
You could be.
Oh shit, I fucked up.
Birth control, right? They said, hey, it's the hook. This didn't come from men. Now, men have always wanted to have sex with as many women
100%.
as they could, because that's the way that they're biologically hardwired, right? For example, look at gay couples. Promiscuity is almost non-existent. Why? Because everyone just says yes all the time.
That's true. I knew a gay guy in LA. He became a friend of mine. And they just fuck everything and everybody. They're all fucking each other. You know what I'm saying? There's no, like, discrimination. So what he's saying is absolutely true.
All the time. It was women who civilized men and said, no, you got to put a ring on it, right? That was how it used to work. A man used to have to court, romance a woman, and then get married, and they would be engaged in a sexually monogamous relationship. Here's another complaint that we have.
The second one was part 2.
The issue is the stopgap was removed from carnal sexuality. And now a lot of women are upset that, and rightfully so, I agree with you, that a lot of men are this is what's happening. The golden
No, they shouldn't be upset. And this is the problem with these trad cons. They always shift the blame away from women. Yeah, it's not women's. Well, it is the women's fault, because ultimately women decide who they have sex with. Women are the gatekeepers of sex. Men are the gatekeepers of relationships. So it's absolutely their fault. But I guess he has a female audience also, so he probably wants to appease to them. And women don't like being told they're wrong. So I get what he's doing.
They're playing the field because they have more options.
I know Steven
knows
knows what's up. He's a smart guy.
Women have, throughout the decades, tried to increase their value in the romance and in the dating marketplace in ways that they see men add value. But it doesn't add value to a man. What do I mean? Women have said, well, I'm a professional career woman. Well, men don't care.
Exactly.
Say, well, I make a good
exactly
income.
what I
Men
said.
don't care.
We
well,
don't
I have
care.
a college degree. Men
don't
care.
give a fuck.
You value that in a man. A man still values the same things in general when polled: kindness, being attractive, nurturing, loyal. These are things they're not going. Men don't say, "Oh, does she make a good income?"
Exactly, guys. Nobody we guys don't give a fuck about a woman's career, especially if you're a guy who has his own shit. The only guys who care about a woman's income are broke boys. So ladies, if you want to be with a broke boy, then yeah, he's gonna care about your income and how much you make, because he ain't got shit. So the guys that you want, the high value guys, we don't give a fuck about a woman's income. Give me a baddie who works at McDonald's and I'm happy. I'd rather have a baddie who works at McDonald's who's a 9 over a 6 who's a career woman with $1 million all day long.
See that as valuable, because that's the role of protector and provider, whether you want to admit it or not. And so you've tried to increase your value through being more like a man. It's just like having female action stars. Like, well, how about you just have... That's why Queen's Gambit was great. You're the best female chess player. Fantastic. There's no reason that can't happen. Why? Because women can be just as good at chess. Women cannot... You can't beat someone's ass with a high heel. You're going to get your ass kicked, okay, Charlize?
Yeah, and that's why these superhero movies with women just never make any sense, and they're not entertaining. Wonder Woman was an exception. That was an okay movie. I wouldn't say it was great. It was no Dark Knight. But the whole idea of chicks kicking ass, it just doesn't work, because chicks are not out there kicking ass. It's a masculine thing to go out there and whoop ass or stop a bank robbery or stop crimes. You know what I mean? Even female police officers are useless. So it's like that's why those movies do terrible at the box office. The new Star Wars movie did terrible because they had a female lead, and nobody really wanted to see that. Even their leftist SJW fans. Go woke, go broke.
So you try to empower women by telling them to be more like men. Yeah. Here you go. Now men aren't all that interested. And that brings me to another point. We hear this a lot, that men will not commit, right? This is a complaint among women. And you know what? It's actually true.
Yeah, we saw it in some of the chat questions. I've been dating somebody for 4 or 5 years, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? That shouldn't happen.
And this is true. Men are not willing to commit. Why? Again, this goes back to point number one, the sexual revolution, right? And marriage just isn't also seen as a winning proposition. This is something that's important. A lot of people don't understand, too.
It's not worth it in the
increasing
West.
expectations in marriage of men, where men used to be the provider, men used to be the protector, and women would be at home with the children. And now it's also you share all the household duties. Also, you're Mr. Mom at home. And also, if I leave you for any reason, I'm going to take half. This is a part of the feminine.
Exactly. Even if they cheat, in lots of cases they still get half. So like, what the fuck is why am I incentivized to get married? Versus if I don't marry you, I can do whatever I want. I can cheat. I can fuck around. You'll still give me kids. So what's the upside for me as a man to get married? I can only lose, and that's why men are opting out. And that's why like I'm not married yet. Now I want to have children, kids one day. And I would get married, but not in this country. I'd probably go to the East or like Colombia or any of these places, or my home country of Pakistan, where men are treated fairly. In the West, it's completely backwards. Like, you as the man, you have no power in the house. You can't even tell your wife she can't go out with her male friends. You can't yell at her or they'll take you to jail. If she decides to suck another dick and leave you, they still take half your money, half your income. So what the fuck is the upside? You're an idiot if you get married in the West, especially without a prenup.
Feminist revolution. And so men say, well, you know what? That's a risk that I don't really want to take. Women,
why would you? Especially if you have
laws
assets.
Were changed.
Especially if you have money.
Women. These ideas were championed by women.
Of course they were.
Men never wanted it, to be clear. Just like they don't want a woman today who's 35 with a gender studies degree in student debt to be the mother of their children.
Exactly. And at 35, 90% of her eggs are gone anyway. So the chance that she can even get pregnant are very, very low. The chances that your kid is going to be on the spectrum of autism are very, very high. The chance that your kid is going to be disabled if you have a kid with a woman who's 35 are very, very high. Plus, at 35, she's going to have all the baggage of all the dicks that she's had in the past, all the heartbreak, all the trauma that she's going to bring to you. But because these women think that us men think like them, because they're still attracted to 35-year-old career men, and that's actually what they're the most attracted to. A guy who at 35 hits his peak, especially with his career, and if you've kept your fitness going, that's when generally a man looks like a man at that age. But because these women think that we think like them, we must also want a 35-year-old career woman with a high body count.
Turn back now. Here's another one that you see a lot of women now, too, when they look at the dating pool. You can read this in the golden penis syndrome. Men don't make enough money, right? It's really tough. I can't find a man who makes enough money. Well, look, okay, why do you think that is? When feminism pushed the idea, and not only pushed the idea, denigrated the idea of single-income households, a stay-at-home mom, they pushed the idea of a dual-income household.
Yeah.
It was considered, to feminists, less respectable, to the point where a lot of women decided, I'm going to take pride in your job. Absolutely. But take pride in being a mother, too. Take pride in being a wife, too. Do you not want your husband to take pride?
No, it's looked down upon. It's looked down upon in today's society if a woman chooses to be a housewife or a mother. I thought feminism was all about choice. It was all about doing what you want to do. But these feminists will sit here and shame women who want to be housewives or mothers, and they'll call them pick-me's and all other kinds of terms.
Being a good husband, being a faithful husband, being a loving husband, the qualities that you admire in a man. Take pride in being a wife and a mother, not just a career. You can take pride in either or, but generally speaking, not both. You can't have it.
You can't have it all,
and so when you
ladies.
change this,
Nobody can. We all
women,
must
just to
make
be clear,
sacrifices.
What they're seeing now is a lot of men sort of going into the job pool as women used to. So before the 1960s, women
Bosom buddies.
Yes. Women used to, a lot of them were teachers. When they say women weren't allowed in the workforce, no, women were teachers. Women made up the majority of nurses, things like assistants, secretaries. Now, why? Not because they weren't qualified, not because men were trying to hold them back, and I'm sure there's some of that, but a big reason was women, back then, valued flexibility over, say, pay, being a CEO, traveling. Why? Because that would take them away from their kids. And at this point, society and humanity recognize that women are generally happier when they're close with their children and can spend time with their children. As women's share of household duties has consistently gone down, so has their happiness. I am not saying that Bitch, you'd be happier if you were cleaning the floor. What I am saying is that as women have started to make more money, as women have been allowed at record rates in the STEM fields, whether qualified or not, because many women don't want to enter into these fields.
Yeah, it's basically affirmative action in all the STEM fields now, and all the corporate, all the corporate positions. They basically have affirmative action to hire women, but still they don't do as well in the STEM field, and there's not enough still, regardless of all the scholarships and all the money that's being poured into it. Because women are generally not interested in those subjects. They don't like geeky subjects. They like doing things that they like to do, like studying animals or gender studies or like language or nonsense. They don't like going into fields that actually make money.
Happy because they are realizing that it's not.
The bitches I know who make the most money are like real estate women, and that's also because real estate is it's a people's job. You have to know it's a social job. It's like you have to know people and you have to get along with people. That's why they like going into fields that involve other people.
Not as fulfilling as the lie.
Women are generally interested in people, and men are generally interested in things.
That feminists sold you. What is fulfilling? Seeing the first smile on your children's face. Having a warm house and home, taking pride. You can still work. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying that as women have increasingly placed a premium on work, they're becoming less happy. It would be just like if.
And then they decide at 35, like he said, at 29. Most of these ladies at 29, but some of them are even later now, at 35. When their eggs dried up and they have 100 bodies on them, then they decide now I want to have a family. Now I want to have children. Where are all the good men? They were in your friend zone 20 years ago, sweetheart. That's where all the good men are.
If all men today were stay-at-home dads, they didn't go to work, guarantee you male suicide would be higher,
100%.
guarantee you depression would be higher, because you know what? That's not what we were designed to do, and it would be a monumental shift.
Feminism lied to you, ladies. It taught you that you can have it all, but the truth is nobody can have it all. You see me in this designer suit and Gucci shades and a view of downtown Toronto and two Benzes parked downstairs because I made sacrifices in my early 20s. I decided to work on my business and not go out partying while my friends were doing that. I decided not to get drunk on a Friday night when all my friends were doing that. And they're all bums now while I'm sitting here enjoying the views and living my life, making money. We all have to make sacrifices. We can't have it all. And feminism lied to you bitches. You can't be a boss babe, be 35, develop all the masculine traits that are required to be in that corporate position that you're in. And then at the end of it decide, now I want to get married. Now I want children. Now I not only just with any guy, now I want a high value man. A man who makes more money than me. A man who's also tall, handsome, basically describing me. And a guy like me, I'm not going to settle for a 35-year-old chick. I'm 29 personally, and I wouldn't even date long-term a 29-year-old woman. She's too old. She's too old for me. By 29, y'all have mad bodies, all of you, especially in the West. All you Western bitches have like double, triple-digit bodies on you. All the trauma and all the heartbreak and all the bullshit that brings. You have masculine tendencies. Y'all talk like men. You think like men. I don't want another man, dude. I want a nice, feminine, young girl who's going to get on my plan. And that's it. We don't want masculine, older chicks. Y'all like masculine men because you're women. You like masculine guys who are older than you, who are dominant, who are competent. We don't look for those things. We look for femininity and we look for beauty. Those are the things we look for. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe to Steven Crowder's channel. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already.